How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're carrying on more Battle Spirits content, where we're going to go over the spoilers for the Call of the Curse, the purple starter deck for the Battle Spirits card game. So this is the second starter deck that is released for Battle Spirits, ready for the launch event and for the first set, and it's is the color purple, and as well it's kind of things it goes around is kind of using the exclusive skill to the color being Curse and Blood Curse, and also around removing cores as well. So it's got that kind of core manipulation, which is quite interesting. And what we're going to do, like with the red one, we're going to go through it, and we're going to have a look and see what exclusives are on there, because the starter decks are all exclusive cards. There's no cards from the main set added into it. There's all exclusive ones that you just get from purchasing a starter deck. And remember, if you go to the launch event in March, you can just purchase 2 starter decks if you want at the bare minimum, put together and still have a fun time. And the game is quite a fun one as well from the little bit of testing I've done. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But before we do that, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps the channel out greatly, and it's much appreciated as well to help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs. So starting off with the first slot being I think every starter deck does have a X-Rare being the first card of the set, and then they've got a few more after. And just like with red and like the other colors, purple has 3 types that are kind of like the main ones, that like the 3 main ones for at least for the first set anyway. And one of those is Serpent. So like if you like snakes, purple's your guy. And the first one we've got is Dark King Snake Pentacles. I can't really say it. Some of these names I've not played against with all the cards, so I'm not exactly sure how to say all the names. Like I know even with some spellings, like with some names, like I think Adidas. That's kind of a word that if you go to America, you'll get it as Adidas. You know it's Adidas. So yeah, some people will get it wrong where it's just not sure. Like some things aren't actually pronounced as they're spelled. And then we also got Dragon Naga Assassin, and then Segro Snake. So Dark King Snake, that is the X-Rare for this deck. The 7 cost with a 3 cost reduction, and it has 3 levels going at 1, 3, 4. So not the most expensive way to get all the way up to level 3, but also not too bad, because you only have to get to level 2 to actually have both the skills live. And the first skill it's got is when summoned, that triggers at any level. It selects one of your opponent's spirits, remove all but 1 core from it, and place them into reserve. So like knocking off all but 1 core from your opponent's cards, or one of your opponent's spirits. And its ever a skill which is triggered at level 2 or 3, is when it attacks, you get to select one of your opponent's spirits, remove a core from it, and place it into a trash. That's quite cool because you get to knock a core off, and it just goes to a trash instead of the reserve, meaning they can't use that towards playing any like flash cards, like using magics or anything like that, which is quite cool. So essentially what this guy can do is come down, knock all but 1 skill off one of your opponent's spirits, and then swing to take that remaining core off that spirit to get rid of it. So you can kind of like deal with anything as long as it doesn't have the armor. I think that's the one. And not too bad. The cost reduction is coming down at least four cores, and you need 7 to go up to at least have both the skills live. But that's not too bad later on in the game. Then you have Dragon Naga Assassin being a 3 cost with 1 purple reduction. Levels just go 1, 2, 3 to get to 3, and you do need to get to at least level 2 or 3, or at least 3 to get both his skills, or at least 2 to get his first skill. And its first one is a level 2 or 3. When it attacks, it gets Curse, and Curse is one of the skills that is exclusive to purple. And Curse is basically if one of your opponent's spirits blocks this card, you destroy it when the battle ends. So even if this card if it's got Curse and it gets blocked, and then this card dies, it will still kill the other one via Curse, which is quite nice. So that makes it so some of the cards of purple you're not going to want to block unless you don't care about losing your blocker. And then if you get to level 3, it has this: when this spirit attacks, draw a card if this spirit has a soul core on it. So soul core is that special core in the game that you always have access to and can't really lose unless you do it yourself, which we'll see in red in the main set. And it triggers some effects that need the soul core, which is quite interesting. And then we have Segro Snake being a 3 cost with 1 reduction, just like Dragon Naga Assassin. And it's only got 2 levels, 1 and 2, and it needs 1 or 3 to trigger them. And its skill is available at either level, and that is during your attack step, if there's a soul core on the spirit, it cannot be blocked by your opponent's spirits with only one core on them. And since the whole thing with one of the main things with purple is core manipulation, that could be quite easy to do. So that's the first three. Then we go to the next one. We've got some undead cards. So we've got so undead is a never kind of one of the never three main types in purple. So undead, serpent, and we'll get into the third one in a bit. And these are the first three undead cards. We got Mum Maria, being a 4-cost with 1-cost reduction. Demo Bones being like a Rain Needle in the red one, being a 1-cost 1 reduction, so it can be played for free and it's basically skillless. And then Mummy Fun being a 4-cost with 3 reduction, essentially coming down for 1. And the last two being 2 skillless ones. So Mum Maria, it's kind of expensive one. You need to pay at least 3 for it if you get that 1-cost reduction. And it's only got 2 levels, being a level 1, level 2, being 1,000, 5,000. And it requires 1 for the first level and 3 for the second. And it doesn't matter what level you are at, because for both levels, when it's summoned, you get the skill, which is select one of your opponent's spirits, remove a core from it, and place it into the reserve. So another card that drops off a spirit from your opponent's spirit, which is not too bad. Like, it's quite costly just to remove 1 spirit for 3 costs, but then if you're removing the last core off of them, you're getting rid of a card. You basically just it's actually playing this destroy spirit, which is quite cool. Demo Bones, the leveling up is quite simple: 1, 2, 3 to get to the level, and just skillless is more for the power. And then Mummy Fun, same thing, but its level up is 1, 3, 4, and the power's a little bit stronger, but it still is skillless, but it can come down for 1, so you can bring out a big skillless, depending on it, if you ever have any archetypes in purple that do well with skillless, which, given it's the first set, is not too bad. It is not the greatest at the moment. Then we have the next lot, so we have Undead, Shadow, and Nightling in these types. I think Shadow might be the third main type in Battle Spirit Saga. I just can't remember now. I think it is, because I'm trying to remember what the X rare is, and I think it is a Shadow card. So I think, yeah, the main 3 types in purple are Serpent, Undead, and Shadow. So like, it's quite dark with the kind of characters in purple. And we've got Okapandal as the 4-cost with 2-cost reduction, Dark Knight Florence being a 2-cost with 1-cost reduction, and Skullfly being a skillless 2-cost with 2-cost reduction, essentially being able to come down for free. So some of the skillless can come down for free, which is quite cool. And with the first one, Okapandal, it's only got 2 levels, being 1 and 2, requiring 1 core or 3 core, and it doesn't matter which one, because either level its skill is available, which is what a spirit attacks against curse. Essentially, remember, curse is when your opponent's spirit blocks this card's attack, you destroy at the end of the battle, even if it survives or not. And the same thing goes with Dark Knight Florence. Exactly the same 2 skills, but its skill to gain curse when it attacks is only available at level 2, which requires at least 3 cores. But it's a little bit cheaper, by 1 anyway, than Okapandal. And then Skullfly, its levels just 1, 2, and 4 to get all the way up, and it's not much power for a skillless. Then we have the last 2 spirits, I think the last 2 spirits, and yeah, these are the last 2 spirits, being Phasmabat and Stray Soul, so a Nightling and a Darkling. So Phasmabat is a 3-cost, 1-cost reduction, and it's got 3 levels, 1, 3, and 4 to get to those levels, and at least you need to get at least level 2 to get its skill. So level 2 or level 3, it's got a skill when it attacks, draw a card if your opponent has a spirit with only 1 core on it. And given the fact that purple has a whole core reduction, you should be able to trigger this, get this pulled off. But it's still quite a costly one just to draw a card, being at least 2 to play and at least 3 cores on it to get this skill live. And then Stray Soul, 3 cost with 1 cost reduction, just like Phasmabat. Same stats, same similar level up, being 1, 2, 4. So it needs 1 less core to get to level 2, and it doesn't matter as much about what level it is, because at any level when it's summoned, it gets a skill or select one of your opponent's exhausted spirits, remove a core from it, and place it into their reserve. So kind of like, again, purple's thing of removing cores from things. So that's all the spirits. Then we get into the 2 nexus you get in the starter deck. So you get the first one being Dark Grail, or 3 cost with 1 reduction. And as you're probably going to see a theme of it, almost all nexuses don't require any cores to be on it to have this level 1 live to keep it on board. And the other one is Purple Smoke Valley, which is a 4 cost with 1 cost reduction. So for Dark Grail, it's if you want to get to level 2, you need to put 3 cores on it, and it doesn't matter what, even at level 1 or level 2, you get the first effect at one place. Select one of your opponent's spirits with 2 or more cores on it, remove a core from it and place it into their reserve. So again, knocking cores off your opponent's cards. The kind of like the good thing about that is knocking it down from certain levels, and if you hit at least this one, it has to have at least 2 or more cores. Remove one off, so this is not killing one of your opponent's spirits, which is a shame, but good for your opponent. And if you get to level 2, then during your attack step, you get this skill of draw 1 card when when one of your purple spirits is destroyed. So it's only during your attacks. If they block it and kill yours, then you get the draw. But yeah, it's only during your attack step when this triggers. Then you got Purple Smoke Valley, so it's level 1 effect. Well, it's effect that doesn't matter what level it's in triggers, which is draw a card when draw a card when one of your effects destroys one of your opponent's spirits via reducing its score to 0. And that's quite cool. So if you can get your opponent's spirits down to 1, or if they have spirit down to 1, you just take a marker off, you get a draw off this, and it doesn't matter how many cores you have on it, it's live at level 1 or 2, and it's any point, because it doesn't have a little bit of bold text next to the level to determine when this is live. It's live at any point, which is quite cool. It's something you don't see often on the skills. You normally have a little bold bit of text to say when it's live. And the effect, the level 2 effect, the other effect, which you need to be at level 2, which requires 2 cores on this card. The trigger is during your attack step. Your spirits with curse cannot be blocked by your opponent's spirits with only 1 core on them. So that's quite a nice value. It means if they've only got 1 core, they've got to make sure they've got more cores, which normally if they're against purple, you're going to be put more cores in your cards to make sure they're not easily just taken out by your core removal effects. And it means that if your opponent is blocking something, they're going to lose something, because remember, curse kills whatever blocks this spirit with curse. And it means if they're blocking something that's got a lot of cores on it, all those cores can be knocked back to the reserve and been put a bit less to use. But those are the 2 nexuses. Then we go on to the last lot of cards, being the 3 magic cards it gets. And we've got Poison Shot, Core Drain, and Bloody Rain. So we got a Poison Shot being a 5 cost with a 3 cost reduction, Core Drain being a 3 cost with a 2 cost reduction, effectively being used for 1, and Bloody Rain being a 4 cost with a 2 cost reduction. Now, Bloody Rain and Poison Shot both have burst effects. Poison Shot's burst effect is burst when your opponent destroys your spirit. So when your spirit is destroyed, you get to trigger this in your burst area. And its effect is just draw a card, and then you can pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect. And sometimes you're going to try to aim and hopefully be able to pay it for just for 2 with the cost reduction. And Bloody Rain's burst effect is when you lose a life as the trigger, your opponent cannot attack with a spirit during this turn unless you remove a core from it and place it into their reserve. And given if you're trying to limit the cores on your opponent's cards down, you can essentially, this could be almost as good as Absolute Ice Shield, which we'll see soon enough when we get to the main set. That could make it harder for your opponent to try and swing through more attacks. Because unless they put loads, more cores than need to on a card, they're going to have to remove one off, lower the level of the card, and if they've only got 1 core on a card, they're not going to be attacked with it. And then the other skills on the cards is Poison Shot's main flash effect that you can then play after using the burst is select 1 spirit, remove a core from it and place it into its owner's reserve, so knocking cores off of it. That's quite nice. And then we got Core Drain. Its 2 skills being the first one being activate during the main step. Select one of your opponent's exhausted spirits, remove up to 3 cores from it and place them into reserve. So this is quite cool, knocking off 3 cores, but it only works on a card that is exhausted. So that's going to be really nice, especially if you're one good thing about this, it can go down for 1 because it's got a 2 cost reduction, and it's only activated during the main. Not if it was during a flash step, that would be horrible, because then you could just when the flash step potentially kill something or reduce it down to a lower level, removing a effect it could have. And this can normally, it might be able to kill some things, because or even finish them off or lower down to a level where you don't have to, certain effects aren't live. And then you got the activate, you got the main flash step skill, which is select 1 spirit against 2000 BP during this turn. That's not too bad. We've seen that on some of the red cards, and you'll see probably it's a lot on some of them, where they just got an effect that gives something another bit of BP. And same with Bloody Rain, it's also got the same main flash step skill, which is select 1 spirit, it gains 2000 BP during this turn. So you're going to see that's the main thing on some of the cards, where they've got extra one that just give BP, especially since it's so early in the game, and these are kind of basic basically little effects that you have some for the magic cards. And that is it for the purple style. Like quite good, quite interesting. Like, it's not like the starter decks aren't the like amazing for competitive play, but it's still a good starting point. And purple is all about removing cores and kind of like trying to and also using curse to kind of push through damage and punishing your opponent if they try to block them. So that is it for this one, and thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and catch us next time when we go over the white starter deck next. Bye for now.